Now, passing it on to the discussion that we'll have with our partners from SYKES, just to see their opinion about the new functionalities that we've added in the platform and to see how easy it is to actually be a Druid partner.
Thanks, Luca. Today with me is SYKES. We have A.Z. Sheikh, the Senior Director of Digital Solutions and Transformation, and Alex Dixon, one of the Client Directors over at SYKES. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Edwin.
So, let's get started. We only have a limited amount of time. So can you guys tell me a little bit about SYKES and what your specialty and focus is in the marketplace?
Sure. Thanks, Adrian. SYKES has been focused on delivering exemplary customer experience for more than 40 plus years. We are here to help brands optimize the lifetime value of our customer relationship by building an intelligent customer experience that is pretty much focused around attracting, converting, engaging, and retaining our customer. That's the core business we've been evolving at. And from an SDS perspective, Alex, would you like to go ahead with that?
Sure. Thanks, Izzy. And thanks to the Druid team for having us as well. There's a few key focuses that our digital services brand has, or digital services capabilities has. There's one that's an automation focus, heavy focus around RPA, RDA, conversational AI, other integrated automation capabilities. Another focus around self-service and call deflection. Another focus that we have specifically around reimagining learning experiences, whether it's for agents, whether it's for end users as well. And then a last focus around analytics function with understanding what's happening inside of your agent population, inside of your call center, into your call lifecycle as well. So the series of a handful of acquisitions and strategic partnerships have formed this digital services arm, which we point and support our BPO or engagement services team, but also the market as well.
Okay. So a lot of what you're talking about really kind of seems to stem around the customer experience and employee experience. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So what trends are you seeing from both those standpoints and how it relates to the world of conversational AI, especially coupled with RPA? And, are there any examples that you might be able to provide for us?
Sure, I'll take that. I think there's a few themes that we see. One, when we were talking about deflection, that self-service piece, there's a big focus around shifting left. Instead of automating a call driver, is there an opportunity where we can just make sure it doesn't come in and the customer can help him or herself? There's another trend around anywhere operations, is what we'll sometimes call it. But especially from a customer experience or employee experience, being able to meet the customer, whether they're stuck at home in lockdown, whether on a mobile device, and a lot of that starts bleeding into a seamless omni-channel experience as well. So you can kind of mix some of those together. And then I think a third trend that we're seeing more and more is how do we drive human-centric automation, and how does transformation include the juxtaposition of digital labor and human labor. You'll hear AZ call this ABC experience from time to time, and we start seeing the historical automation challenges where I have challenges interacting with automations. I have challenges kicking off automations. I have challenges giving the data to automations. Starting to be overcome by integrated automation technologies like intelligent virtual agents like conversational AI, and what Druid is doing. You can support these automation programs as well. AZ, anything from your side?
No, I think thanks, Alex, for covering it. And as Alex mentioned, the whole concept of experience is now turned into multifold of looking at it from different perspective. Both from it's actually a trifold. One being the agent's experience, the employees, the customer's experience, and the business experience, because they're the people who are actually funding projects to make sure they get the benefit out of it. So just to give you some examples of how we've gone about, implementing conversational technologies, one of the key aspects when it comes to an employee experience is to make sure that a technology is integrated and is available at any given point of time, what Alex called out. In lieu of that, we had one of the recent implementations of having a HR bot which integrates with our own HR systems. And now one of the criticality or the problem statement here was ease of getting payroll data, the payslip data, information regarding to HR. Now, the intent was to give them a bot which can actually give them that information real time once it is authenticated, and also utilizing RPA at a backend from a UI path perspective to give them their pay slips, give them a certificate which is required. Now, imagine the volumes we get on a monthly basis, around 16,000, 20,000. It turned out to be quite an interesting and fruitful one for us. And not only from an HR perspective, we've also done this similarly for our own IT teams to just get all the IT tickets raised, getting requests for your VPNs, getting access to the certain applications and tool, getting those things sorted out. Now has gone through with chatbot being the interface or a gateway for a larger enterprise automation. Now, while we do this internally for customers, it depends on various business case. And as we were speaking about trends, now customers are also rising up to the occasion to understand how will all of these technology fit together. And that's what they ask is they don't want different technologies in different segments. They want something which works all integrated into one system where they don't, it's the ease of, managing those systems and maintaining that going forward. And that's what most of our clients are looking for.
So with all that being said, how do do you see or expect, customer experience, employee experience to change and evolve over the next couple of years?
No, absolutely. Now, the landscape of customer experience and employee experience has been evolving drastically. I think last report, what we read about Gartner on channel technologies as a service marked virtual assistant to be one of the high importance or at least medium high importance, and said that this is going to be a growth and important of significant importance in future, which makes it very important for a lot of organizations to adopt to it. Not only that, we also work with other leading firms like Everest. Now, one of the interesting part of when we were speaking about Everest was they came up with a concept which says intelligent virtual assistant, but they showcased it as a combined technology of having self-service, RPA, RDA all together. That gives us the favor of how can we implement things which complement each other rather than being independent. Now, what has over the period of time when you mentioned that how has it changed and how are we evolving? Whenever we build our business or our conversations with our client, it is to take into consideration the obstacles we have in their adoption. Because having the best tool, having the best technologies is only good if it is being used. And to make sure it is used, we need to understand what is the current problem or what is the current use case the customer is trying to solve. Now, you will hear this time and again that people say, hey, we have challenge in dialogue management. We don't get the right response from conversation. Is the data available for us to, get those things put in place? Can we do integration with different systems? Can it integrate with the RPA tool? The security and privacy concerns, cost, and time to get it started. People always want it to be done in, let's say, MVP should be ready in 2 weeks, and the whole full deployment should happen as quickly as possible. Now, these are the expectations which are changing also from our customers. Now, recently, Adrian, when we had conversation with our clients, our concept around this is conversation as a service. Now, this is a different service model. What we want to go forward with. We want, as a SYKES, we want to manage the conversation end to end, which involves everything from answering the phone to answering the chat to transferring the chat from a virtual agent to a live agent and taking it as a part of a whole service. And that is what clients expect now. They want you to manage the service, you to get the platform and build the content for it and support it for them, because that reduces their burden. Now, we offer different types of models or service models for our client. It could be conversation as a service where we take care of everything. We also offer content as a service where we you give us the processes, we will help you build the content, We will give you, let's say a service to support it. Platforms are now co-managed. It could be a platform which is customers and we use it, or it's our platform which customers use it. So they now need that flexibility that we are pretty open with all of these concepts. Or at the end of the day, we can also go forward with options of platform as a service, or let's say just service only. So these are the things which have changed quite drastically, from a customer's expectation from sales. Alex, would you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I think that's great, AZ, and I think one of the trends on the more technology side of this integrated, this more tightly integrated ecosystem, right? And so you look just a few years ago, a lot of these automation programs were starting just specifically with RPA only. Then you started playing a little bit of maybe some RDA or some agentic automation, and then we quickly found that the way to manage workflow or the way to manage to orchestrate automation wasn't very great, and so we may have ingested a little bit of BPM or a little bit of service orchestration. A general step was also incorporating intelligent document processing solutions as well. When I started looking at heavy metadata extraction off of a PDF or off of a Word file or something like that. But one of those key trends in that integrated technology ecosystem, also has that human-centric angle, which is where the integrations between UiPath and other RPA players with conversational AI components really starts to become an important concept, an important trend to be mindful of as well, which is one reason why we're excited about the Druid platform as well.
Yeah.
So when you look at like the ever-changing landscape of technologies, what are your clients' expectations on delivering an end-to-end customer experience solution? I mean, you mentioned, AZ, about overcoming obstacles, sorry, but what are you seeing in that part?
See, Adrian, that's a very interesting question. As you see, the conversation technologies can actually transform an organization, but it gives them with a different channels of communication to the customer, while facilitating a stronger interaction and greater engagement. Both for the employees, customers, and internally. While it sounds cool, yes, conversational technology, but it quite pretty much boils down to, are you able to innovate and take the advantage of the available platforms like Druid for your business, customers, and workforce? That's the crux of the matters. And while all of these forces join hands and we come up with an end-to-end solution, that's where SYKES digital service as a whole, we believe at end-to-end service, from the time you search for something, from a virtual agent perspective, to cobots, the remote desktops, RDAs and RPAs, the combined, we have cobot technologies which we want to combine. And that's what clients are actually asking us. They want us to manage it from an end-to-end perspective, have technologies which are integrated with each other without it being cumbersome to manage for them. And that's where we see it change from a client's perspective. They look out for service partners who are easy to work with. They have platforms which are which can integrate in their larger ecosystem, and then something which from a service perspective, which is easy to work from a commercial standpoint too.
Yeah, and I'll add a couple of comments there too. And so when you look at those expectations that are changing, especially around conversational technologies, how that bleeds into automation, I think there's a few other key points as well. One of the big reasons that you start seeing conversational AI, intelligent virtual agents, chatbots being implemented is to expose the benefits of automation to the masses, right? So some of those first use cases that you start seeing that Druid and other platforms provide, HR, ITSM, customer facing, we're looking at this massive swath of volume coming in, right? And so if I want to use this as a flywheel to be able to handle automation, or handle the volume and expose the benefit of automation, there's a few things, especially around the customer experience and employee experience, that come into play. One, I have to be able to match the complexity of that automation. in terms of passing data into it. And if I give it the phone number that has parentheses or a hyphen between, I have to be able to massage that to where it gets into a state where my, endpoint systems handle it without any type of spaces or parentheses or hyphens. I need to have flexibility, in these platforms to understand and handle the intent in terms of what us humans want, are looking for in terms of the service, but are also in terms of how we detail, how we dictate, or how we type out that service. I have to do it safely and securely in terms of enabling me to scale, which also factors in with some of the intent as well. And then I also have to be able to, customize the user experience and customize it across each of the individual channels. And so the experience that I get when I'm on the Bank of America app with Erica and my chat interface, or whether when I'm calling in to the actual call center, or I'm on the website, that's customized experience, especially from a technology perspective and on the virtual intelligent agents, it becomes extremely important. So I think that, now as you have platforms like Druid that are continuing to advance, I think the question we should be asking is, what if we could actually expose these benefits of automation to all? And I think that's where it's extremely exciting for us, but also for our clients and for the space.
Well, Alex, why exactly do you feel that SYKES added Druid platform to kind of help your customers address their needs?
Good question. There's a few things. When we were first looking at Druid, we have several conversational AI, chatbot, virtual intelligent agents, virtual agents, depending on all these different verbiage, right? Several different platforms that we already use today. One of the main reasons that we saw Druid as a viable platform, as a platform that we needed to invest in for training, for evaluation, for bringing into our family, was this integration with UiPath specifically. And so when AZ is talking about some of the trends, we're talking about some of what's happening inside of these clients' automation programs, inside of these clients' customer experience operations, like a call center, like contact center, and I need to go back and forth between a virtual intelligent agent or a chatbot and automation. That integration between between the two, not only for an agent being able to search knowledge-based articles or to kick off after call work activity, but also for a customer to be able to open a loan or be able to execute some type of KYC process. That integration between the virtual assistant, the conversational AI platform, and the RPA platform becomes ever so important. And so as soon as our guys and our gals saw that integration, there was a light bulb that went off, especially given these trends that are happening.
And if I may add to what Alex mentioned, when we did the evaluation of the platform, it was well poised in certain problems we wanted to solve at our customers, and especially, let's say, customers want a very simple method of viewing the conversational flow. We call this as low code, no code approach towards building conversational flow, and the latest update actually helps us, doing that visually than actually sitting and writing it and coding it, which makes life slightly much more simpler. And Alex spoke about the intent piece of it and the integration towards it was quite hard for us to execute the robo call for any kind of RPA RPA integration. But one of the other interesting features of what I prefer with the new updates are around the the map which it creates, which can be utilized for conversation and see what kind of conversations have happened, and you can correct it. And once you start integrating the amount of data you have and see which kind of data, from a mining perspective, how we can build that conversation flow, all of them integrated, that definitely makes this as a platform of choice with all the other platforms what we have and evaluated. So that was one of our key focus areas when we we evaluated that. Adrian.
Great. Well, hey, listen, I want to appreciate both of you for your time today. Before we close, if a company is interested in discussing the SYKES offerings, what is the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Sure. We'll flash our email IDs on the screen here. Be sure to connect with us on LinkedIn, but we're here to help, right? So love to hear what you guys are doing and you as a client or as partners are doing around this integrated automation space, especially with conversational AI. So we'd love to have your feedback, your thoughts, whether you agree with us, whether you don't. And then ultimately too, if there's ways that we can help, we can span the entire gamut, whether it's upfront needing to understand, what my conversational AI plus automation strategy is, or what my conversational AI opportunity is inside of the customer experience, employee experience, like AZ is referring to, all the way through, implementing and delivering that integrated solution to you guys as well. So feel free to shoot us an email, connect with us on LinkedIn. Love to hear your thoughts, and then also happy to help as well.
All right. Well, thanks, gentlemen.